There we go. Right then, team. Morning, morning. So I hope none of you are fluent German speakers because I'm just about to massacre the language. But I learned this new word this week, and it is the name of a sickness that I think many of us are afflicted by. But luckily I have the antidote, don't worry, and it doesn't involve any injections or boosters. So the word is Eilkrankheit, and it literally translates as hurry, sickness. And it's this, only the Germans could come up with this, it's wonderful. It's the word that describes this kind of perpetual feeling of being busy and in a rush from thing to thing. And I think many of us feel like that on occasions. Many of us suffer from Eilkrankheit. And the antidote is this, it's to find that time for ourselves to carve out an hour within the busyness, or not even an hour, sometimes it's just 5 minutes to unplug, go for a walk, have a cup of tea, do whatever it is to kind of jump off that hamster wheel of busyness. And unfortunately, I think in this day and age, busyness seems to have been glorified, and it's almost an act of defiance when asked, how was your weekend or how your week has been, not to reply in that slightly kind of harried tone of busy, but actually to say, oh, it's been really nice, thank you. I saw some friends, I did some work, that suggestion of balance, God forbid. And I never forget when I was in my last job and my boss, and it wasn't said with any sense of benevolence either, my boss said to me, you are the only member of this team that has a life beyond school. And at that point I knew I had to leave, it was time to go. So I think it's important that we do find that balance, whatever that balance is, and it's never going to be in perfect alignment, but we're doing exactly the right thing here by just taking a moment to ourselves. So we're going to start by lying down today. So if you need a pillow or a cushion today underneath your head, or a little blanket if you're a little bit cold, feel free. And just lie yourself down in a comfortable position. I'm just going to stay seated for a moment so I can just talk to you. So arrange yourself in a nice comfortable position. If you need to have a little stretch or bring your knees up towards your chest before we begin, feel free. And we're just going to start with some words that my own yoga teacher quite often reads at the beginning of a class. This idea of using our yoga to cure any sense of Eilkrankheit we might be feeling today. When life feels too fast, pause and remind yourself that you can choose to move more slowly. When your mind is racing with 100 thoughts, pause, find your breath and feel as your thoughts begin to disperse. When your body feels tired and heavy, pause, relax and let the earth take your weight. When the world is loud and the noise tires your body and mind, pause, breathe and choose to enter the quiet sanctuary within you. And we do live in a very busy and noisy world. So give yourself permission for this next hour to switch off from that. And begin to use your breath now to find that quiet sanctuary within. Seeing if you can slowly deepen and lengthen each breath. As we take a moment to step off that hamster wheel of busyness, we can begin to noticing how the body feels today. What we're bringing to the mat, maybe some pockets of tension or tightness that hopefully this practice will unlock. Maybe we have been busy this week. Life is what it is. So if you have had a particularly busy week or busy morning, use this next hour as an opportunity to recharge, ready to step back onto that hamster wheel, hopefully feeling a little bit more refreshed. Relaxing the face, letting that sense of heaviness just drop into the shoulders. Down the body, relaxing the hips. Making sure you're not gripping in your hands, your toes, so the whole body can begin from a point of ease. And let's just very gently bring the hands down by the side of the body with the palms flat to the floor if they're not already there. And we're simply going to reach the arms straight up towards the ceiling. Just start a little circle through the wrists there. And as you do so, try not to lift your shoulder blades off the floor. So see if you can feel that sense of heaviness across your upper back as you circle one way, and then just take the hands around the opposite way. As it starts to get a little bit colder, really important to warm the joints up. Lovely. And then come to stillness with the palms facing away from you. And reaching both arms back above your head. Go ahead and widen your arms if you need to, softening the rib cage as you stretch the arms back behind you. And then bringing them all the way back up and back down by the side of the body. Let's start to add on with the breath. So as you inhale, reach the arms all the way up and back. And just soften the rib cage. And exhale. Coming all the way back down. Maybe spreading the palms a little bit now as you continue. Just a few more times. Trying to get the arms moving as one unit. Beginning to enliven through the hands, the fingers, as you spread the palms nice and wide, reaching back above the head, and then coming all the way back down. The next time your arms are above your head, let's pause and meet there. If your knees are bent like mine, we'll all stretch the legs out in front. And go ahead and circle the wrists and the ankles now. So the ankles, the toes, the fingers, getting a little bit of wiggle and movement there. And again, changing direction. So I put my arms just lifted off the floor a little way so I can bring that movement into my wrists a little bit more comfortably. And then placing the hands down behind you if you've lifted them up. Let's come to a full body stretch. So maybe point the toes, reach back through the fingertips, maybe arch your back a little bit. Finding the space behind you as you breathe in. As you breathe out, walk your heels back in towards you, lowering the arms. And then we'll bring the knees in towards your chest, one at a time. No rushing today. Maybe have a little rock from side to side, just a self-soothing movement for the spine. And then coming to center, give those knees a nice big squeeze. So bring them in down towards your chest. Maybe feel your tailbone lift off the floor a little bit. And then just allow the knees to drop away from you, the arms straighten a little bit. You keep the hands on the knees, you just let the legs relax. We'll take an inhale. And as you exhale, give those knees a big squeeze, and maybe this time bring your nose towards your knees. Then as you inhale, head and shoulders come down as you let the legs just come away from the belly. And then exhaling, squeezing them in, maybe again rounding up nose to knees. And inhale, release. Let's do that one more time. So exhaling, squeezing. And this time, bring the head and shoulders down to the mat. Maybe have a little roll across the back of the head to relax the neck. And then the feet come down to the floor, the knees and ankles will keep together. And then allow the knees to drop out to the side so the soles of the feet together. If your hips feel a little tight, so you're in almost like a little reclined butterfly position, if your hips are tight, just slide your feet further away from your bottom. Maybe have a little rock from side to side before you come to stillness, letting gravity do the work. Just opening up into the hips. And you can have the fingertips resting on the thighs. You can let the arms come down by the side of the body. Or if your shoulders feel warm enough, maybe bring the hands back above your head, one hand resting on top of the other. Reclined goddess pose. So embrace your inner goddess. Imagine perhaps as you lie there, just allowing the knees to relax out to the side. There's a lovely warm sun above you, warming us up on this bit of a dreary day. Create our own sunshine today. Breathing into the front of the hips. And then we'll all just bring the arms out to the side, level with your shoulders, with your palms up towards the sky. And now closing right knee over to your left knee. So your knees, your ankles are stacked on top of each other for a little twist. And you can stay there or bring the knees a little closer up towards you. And use that left hand on your top knee or thigh to gently bring the knees down towards the earth. Turn your head over that back arm if that's comfortable. Just wherever you're feeling the sensation of twist, maybe it's around your middle back, maybe it's the top of your hip. I'm feeling it my hip today. Let's take a moment to breathe into that sensation. And bring the head back to center, release both arms out to the side. And on an inhale, bring those knees back up towards your chest and bring one hand onto each knee. Or take an inhale. And as you exhale, give a nice squeeze, maybe nose to knee, coming into that little ball. And then inhale, let the shoulders come back down. Exhale, give that little squeeze again. If you don't want to lift head and shoulders, feel free to leave your head and shoulders on the floor and just work the legs. Let's do that one more time. Coming up, 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 giving yourself a little hug. And then coming all the way back down. The feet come down to the mat, let those knees drop apart, back into our reclined goddess. Take a moment there, maybe again a little rock from side to side across the back of the pelvis and let those knees relax. We're just trying to create a little bit of space before we come into any bigger moves, any deeper hip openness, just allowing gravity to help us here. And then arms come out to the side. Level with the shoulders, this time left knee closes over to your right knee, like you're closing the pages of a book. And again, you can scoop those knees up towards you using your right hand this time on your top knee or thigh. There's no sense of pulling or forcing those knees down. It's just a gentle weight to increase that sense of twist in your back. Go ahead and turn your head if that feels comfortable. And again, this side might feel a little different in terms of sensation. Lovely. And then again, we'll reach both arms out to the side, coming all the way back up through the middle. And this time, one hand on each knee. Go ahead and widen your knees. You can put your big toes together and take the legs round in a circle. Just relax into the hips, relax into the back. One hand on each knee, knees wide, big toes touch. First one way and then round the opposite. And then preparing to come up to seated. You can roll to one side or like me, hook behind your knees and roll your way up to seated. Coming to sit, whatever position is comfortable. I'm going to sit cross-legged, but whatever works for you this morning. It's all good. Pop yourself up on a cushion if you need to. Hands just down by your hips. And think about lifting your breastbone up, softening the shoulders. Lovely. As you inhale, reaching the arms up above the head, maybe the palms touch together. And exhaling, hands to heart, chin dropping down to chest. Let's open the back of the neck. Twice more, inhale, nice big reach up. And exhale, drawing back down through the middle. Lovely, one more time, inhale. And exhale. Changing now, let's reach the arms all the way up. And then bring the right hand down, left arm comes over the top into a little side bend. Lovely, inhale through the middle. And exhale, a little tick-tock over to the other side, so there's no rush. As you take that from side to side a couple more times, maybe tucking your chin in to look up if you want to deepen that stretch. Over the top. Let's do one more each way, one more over to the right. Gently landing that hand underneath you, little softness in the elbow. And one more over to the left. Lovely, reaching both arms up towards the ceiling. This time spin the hands behind you, up onto your fingertips. And we'll press the fingertips down and lift up nice and tall through the chest, maybe taking your gaze up towards the ceiling as you lift your chin. Lovely. And then releasing, crossing the legs the opposite way if you have them crossed like me. Let's reach the arms up, big breath in, and this time we're going to come into a twist. So we twist around to the right. Bringing that left hand down onto your knee, your shin, and taking a little turn. Maybe looking over your back shoulder. Sitting up nice and tall. And then keeping the body as it is, just bring your head back to the middle and then look over your left shoulder. A little twist in the neck. Lovely, head to center. Let's reach on up, take an inhale. And then we'll twist over to the left this time. So exactly the same on the other side, lifting up nice and tall. Maybe taking the gaze initially over your back shoulder there. And then slowly, slowly, body stays as it is. We just move the head through the center and we look over the opposite shoulder. Lovely, head comes to center, reaching up, take an inhale. And again, spin those hands behind you, up on fingertips. lifting and opening through the chest as you squeeze the shoulder blades together. And then release and find your way round onto all fours this morning. Hands under your shoulders and knees under your hips. We'll keep the feet flat so you can gently press into your shins and find that lovely length through the spine. So as you press your hands down, really feel that, again, we're not disappearing into the shoulders and trying to keep that gentle pressure under your hands as you inhale and bring your chest forwards and tilt the tailbone up. And then exhale. I'm a bit too late for a Halloween cat, but I'll say it anyway. Rounding the back. So again, moving with your breath and trying deliberately to slow that movement down. When we do these all familiar postures, it's very easy to kind of rush through them, but let's see if you can slow it down. Really feel that rippling sensation up the back body and the front body. If your chest and shoulders feel tight today, take your hands a little further apart there. Give yourself more space. Then coming to your tabletop once more. You're going to bring your bottom to your heels, and as you do so, bring your forearms down to the mat in two parallel lines, so elbows are behind your wrists. Inhale, peeling back up to all fours, maybe with an arched back. And exhaling, bottom to heels, bringing those forearms down. Try not to splay the elbows out to the sides. So as you continue rocking back and forth, maybe feeling a little bit of work across your upper back as you very carefully place those forearms and those elbows down like train tracks. Let's do that one more time. So as you inhale, we come forwards and up. And this time as you exhale, we'll take a child pose, bottom to heels, sliding the hands forwards now, maybe coming onto the tips of fingers and thumbs. So as you press your fingers forwards and down, you can really close those armpits off towards the mat. So again, we're not splaying the elbows out to the side. And then just bring your palms down to the floor if you'd lifted them up. Move your bottom slightly over to the left and take both hands over to the right side of your mat, shoulder width apart. So we've made a little C shape through the back. And try and hug that left sit bone back towards your heel. Again, dropping both armpits down towards the floor. Again, a couple of breaths there into the left side of the body. And then we'll keep the hands where they are, but come back onto all fours. So your chest is a slight angle over to the right. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, bottom to heels, bringing that left hip towards your left heel. So it's a little asymmetric cat-cow. Inhale, we come forwards and up. And exhale, drawing that left hip back and down. Lovely. Let's do that one more time. Inhale. So chest is coming towards your hands, over towards the right. And this time we'll bring the chest forwards and step will help your left foot forwards, middle of the mat. Go ahead and frame your foot with your hands so we're in that lunge position. And then inhale, reaching the arms up. And exhale, hands to heart, pressing the palms a little bit more firmly together now. So you're sending the elbows out left to right. Take a little lean forwards and hook right elbow over your left thigh. And then press down into the elbow. See if you can bring your thumbs towards your heart. And if you're feeling brave this morning, you might lift that back knee off the floor, stretching the heel away from you. If that's too much, you just keep the knee down, no problem. Lovely. If you've got your knee lifted, we're going to lower that knee down. And bring both hands to the inside of your front foot. So we're going to flick that right shin behind you. So we've got our left elbow on your left knee. And then sweeping that right arm forwards and up, we lift up. And exhale back and down. So let your hips follow the movement. Inhale up. And exhale down. So a couple more like that. You can always bring your hand onto your thigh rather than your elbow if you need more space. Let's do one more circle. And this next time, both hands come down, framing the foot. Spin that shin back behind you and we'll find our way back onto all fours. Inhale, lift the chest. And as you exhale, come down into that child pose, arms in front of you. Option to stay here or a little vinyasa. Inhale to all fours. Exhaling down onto your tummy now. Continue to move forwards and down. And then inhale, pick up the chest. And exhale back into your child pose. Couple more times. So nice and slow again, really relishing the sensations of placing your body down carefully on the mat. And then picking yourself back up. and bottom to heel. Should we do that one more time, team? Inhale. And exhale, coming down. One more time to come up through cobra. And then back into that child pose. And we're going to come down onto your bellies and stay there this time, finding Sphinx pose. So just as we did with our little cat-cow before, we've got our forearms in two parallel lines and your elbows right underneath your shoulders. So imagine you're pulling your elbows back towards the side of the ribs, lengthen the toes back behind you, and feel that lovely length from navel to the top of your throat. And then keeping the chin level with the floor, have a little look over your right shoulder. And then come all the way back through the middle. Look over the left shoulder. And come back to center. One more each way, trying to keep your hips square. So again, we're feeling that nice stretch in the neck, maybe a little bit in the upper back. Lovely. Coming all the way back to center, widening the elbows as you bring your chest down, hands under shoulders, take an inhale. Bottom to heels into that child pose, exhale. And this time just move your hips over to the right and we'll take the hands over to the left side of your mat. So draw both armpits down towards the floor as you reach the arms out to the side there. You might notice one side feels a little tighter than the other. And then again, we'll keep those hands shoulder width apart as you come back onto all fours. So this time your chest is slightly angled over to the left side of your mat. Take an inhale. Exhale, right hip draws back to right heel. Inhale, come forwards and up. So again, a familiar move with a little bit of asymmetry. Exhale, coming back and down, lovely. Inhale, forwards and up. And exhale, back and down. Let's do that one more time. Lovely. And this time, bringing your chest forwards and stepping or helping your right foot forwards this time, top of the mat. Go ahead and frame your foot with your fingertips, ready for that lunge, inhaling up. And exhaling, hands coming down to heart. So again, pressing the palms together. Take that little lean forward. So this time, left elbow hooks over the thigh. And then press the palms together so you're lifting up. We're not collapsing down there. We're lifting the chest away from the thigh. Option. Lift that back knee if that's for you today. A little bit of a balance challenge, so feel free to keep the knee down. Beautiful, well done. If you've got your knee lifted, let's all lower the knee. Hands come to the inside of that front foot. So this time we take that pivot on your left shin, comes behind you. So we've got right elbow or hand on your right knee. So let your hips drop forwards as you sweep that left arm forwards and up. And exhale, back and down, hips sink. Press into the front foot, rise up, inhale. And then let the hips sink, exhale, lovely. Couple more. So a little one again, just to open up through the hips this morning. One more nice rotation. And then bringing both hands down, framing the foot. Again, flicking the shin behind you, and we'll find our way back onto all fours, taking an inhale. Exhale, bottom to heels. Inhale, forwards and up. Exhaling down onto your belly. Rising up through cobra, take an inhale. Bottom to heels, exhale. This time we're coming down onto our belly, so finding your way there, back into our Sphinx pose, elbows underneath your shoulders. So again, let your hips feel nice and heavy as you lift on up through the chest, softening the shoulders away from the ears. This time as you look over your right shoulder, bring your right heel in towards your bottom, flex foot, and then lengthen the leg, come back to center. Look to the left, left heel comes in, so a little stretch for the quads, and then come back through the middle. Let's do that one more time. Try to keep your chest lifted as you try and kick your bottom. And the other side. And then lengthen the legs away. Taking the elbows wide, come down onto your mat. Hands under shoulders. Come onto all fours, and this time we'll tuck the toes under and sit back towards your heels in a half dog. Maybe just have a little rock across the balls of the feet. Waking up the legs and the feet this morning. And finding your way to all fours, and from there joining me in downward dog. You can always stay on all fours this morning if you're not feeling like a downward dog today. And if you're in that downward dog, let's start to walk our feet, pedaling the feet, bending one knee and then the other. And again, no sense of hurry, so maybe matching that with your breath. As you inhale, one knee bends, and as you exhale, we swap over. So that little syncopated pedal there. And then coming to center and lifting both heels up nice and high, and then stretching both heels back towards the floor. Don't worry if they don't touch. Be generous with that knee bend if your legs feel a little tight this morning. I think that nice stretch to the side body. And then from there, just start to slowly walk your feet towards your hands, coming to the top of your mat. When you get to the top of your mat, generous bend in the knees, maybe a cradle of the elbows so you can allow the body to sway softly from side to side. Gently does it. And then coming to the center, I'm going to interlace the hands and bring your hands behind your head. You can always free your thumbs up down your neck. Now point your elbows towards one another and keep those elbows hugged in as you rise your way up to stand. So the elbows are pointing forwards as you stand up. And then we'll take the elbows nice and wide, pressing the head into your hands. Take an inhale. Exhale, right elbow dips down and we point the left elbow up and try and put it back a little bit. Inhale through the middle, over to the other side. So trying to keep the chest open. Let's do one more each way. Lovely side stretch. Elbow pulling up and back as you bump the hips from side to side. One more with that right elbow. Lovely. Then we'll come all the way back through the center, reaching the arms up and then bringing both hands down. Lovely. So standing at the top of your mat, so you've got space behind you. And we'll start with some little sun salutes, nice and gently, before we move into a nice mellow flow this morning. So no sense of haste. Hands to heart, finding the weight even through your feet, lengthening your tailbone down. And as you inhale, let's reach both arms up. And as you exhale, take that forward fold, bend the knees as much as you need to. Hands to your shins, so you can lift up halfway as you inhale. As you exhale, fold back down. And really press into your feet as you rise on up, sweeping the arms out and up. Exhaling, hands to heart. Lovely. Twice more like that. Growing a little taller as you inhale. And exhaling all the way down. Folding down, lifting up halfway. So bring your chest forwards as you inhale. And then exhale, let it sink down over the legs. Again, press into your feet, maybe a little bend in the knees as you rise up. Hands to heart, exhale. We'll do that one more time, then we'll add on. Inhale. How are those hamstrings feeling this morning as you come down into your forward fold? Lifting up halfway, take an inhale. And exhale, we fold. Last time to rise on up. And hands coming down to heart, pause. Looking down into your hands, just open your palms, the little finger edge of your hands stay together like you're opening the pages of a book. And just look down into your palms for a moment. Keeping the eye gaze nice and gentle. Or just straighten the arms, so keeping the little finger edge of the hands together, you'll offer those arms forwards. And then sweep the hands behind you so they can rest on your low back with your fingers pointing down. We'll squeeze the buttocks as you start to lift the chin. Pointing the elbows back behind you, opening up through the chest into a very gentle back bend. And then bending the knees as you slide the hands down the backs of the legs, back into your forward fold. Coming a little tighter there as you draw the body in towards the legs. And then bringing the hands to the front of the legs, to your shins or your thighs. We lift up into that halfway lift. And then lower the hands and slide or step your right leg back, bringing the knee down and flattening the toes. Adding the breath. As you inhale, sweep the arms out and up, push into that front foot. And as you exhale, hands to heart and let the weight shift forward. So you drop the weight forward, slowly opening up into the hip. Inhale, lifting on up as you press into that front foot. And exhale, allow the weight to sink forwards. Lovely, a couple more times. So we're energizing into that front leg as well as opening up into the right hip. Let's do that one more time. Inhale. And exhale, let the hips sink. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And this time as you exhale, bring the fingertips to frame the front foot and tuck the back toes under. So press into your fingertips, lift the chest, or take an inhale. And exhale into your half monkey stretch, your hamstring stretch, move the hips back. So inhale, bend the knee, chest comes forwards. As you move the hips back, you can always keep a bend in that front knee or think about lifting the toes towards your face. Lovely, twice more. eking out a little bit more length in that hamstring every time we move back, but never feeling that we're forcing that big muscle to go beyond what it wants to do today. And we'll bring both hands down, bend the front knee, pick up the back knee, and we'll step back into your downward facing dog. You can stay in your downward dog, you can have a little pedal out the feet. Or join me in plank pose this time, rolling the body forwards. Now press into your hands for a moment. You can bring your knees straight down or keeping the knees lifted. Press into your hands, dome your upper back towards the ceiling, or take an inhale. And as you exhale, knees down, chest down, flattening your feet as you come down onto your belly. Ready for a little cobra, elbows point back behind you as you lift your chest. Taking an inhale, lovely, and exhale, come down. Back onto all fours as you inhale, toes tuck, bottom to heels, back into that half dog, just for a moment. Stretching the arms out in front of you, maybe again, and rock from side to side across the balls of the feet. And then coming back onto all fours, lifting the hips up, back into your downward facing dog. Walk your feet in a step or two, so again, you can find that nice lift up through the center. And bending the knees, look forwards. And as you inhale, walk or step to the top of your mat, into your flat back, and exhale to fold. Let's rise on up, big breath in. Hands coming down to heart, exhale. Add that to our breath, speeding up a little bit on the other side. So again, opening the palms, looking down into your hands. So you're reading a book. As you inhale, offer the arms forwards. And as you exhale, swim the hands behind you onto your low back. Open up through the chest. As you press the hips forwards, take an inhale. And as you exhale, slide the hands down the backs of the legs into your forward fold. Hands to shins or thighs, lift up halfway, take an inhale. This time as you exhale, slide or step left leg back, and we'll bring the knee down. Flattening the toes. As you inhale, sweep the arms out and up. And exhale, hands to heart, and let the weight sink forward. So this time left hip opens. Inhale, press into that front foot. Body lifts a little. And exhale, let everything sink down. Lovely, twice more inhale. This time that right leg working a little bit more strongly as that left hip gets a little stretch there. One more time, inhale. And exhale, lovely. Ready to change, inhale, sweep the arms up. This time as you exhale, bring the hands down. Come up onto your fingertips and tuck the back toes under. So as you inhale, lift your chest. And as you exhale and move the hips back, maybe lifting the right toes up off the mat. And then inhale, bend that front knee, let the hips sink forwards. And exhale, feel that nice stretch in the right hamstring. Lovely, twice more. So just oscillating in and out of that stretch. See how that feels this morning. One more time. Inhale to come forwards. And exhale to rock back. And the next time you're forwards, plant the hands, pick up the back knee, and we'll step back into your downward facing dog. Again, we've got the opportunity to stay there, maybe even take a child pose or join me inhaling to plank. And as you exhale, knees down, chest down. Finding your cobra. So again, squeezing the elbows back behind you as you lift your chest. And exhale, come down onto your tummy. Back onto all fours, take an inhale. Toes tuck, bottom to heels. Exhale, a moment in that half dog. Arms stretched out in front of you. And then inhaling back onto all fours. And then finding your downward dog as you exhale again. Feeling free to walk those feet in a step or two. Lifting the hips up a little higher. Nice steady breaths. And then looking forwards, bend the knees. As you inhale, walk or step to the top of your mat. And exhale to fold. Let's rise on up, big breath in. Hands coming to heart. Exhale. Lovely. So we're going to add on, and knowing that you can always stay with this version, or we're going to add on and add a little bit of balance challenge. I know you love it. So starts the same, looking down into your palms as you open, like the pages of a book. We inhale, take the arms forwards. And as you exhale, bring the hands behind you, and this time maybe interlace them behind your back. Draw the palms down as you inhale, knuckles down, inhale. And as you exhale, bend the knees and fold forwards. Maybe the arms lift up and over. If that's too much, you just bring your hands down onto the floor in front of you. Lovely. Bring the hands onto your low back. As you inhale, sweep the arms forwards and up, rise up. Straight back down as you exhale into your fold. This time we'll lift up halfway. Inhale. And as you exhale, right leg steps back. And this time we're going to get ready for a high lunge. So keeping the back knee lifted, walk your left foot towards your left hand. And then rise on up, all 10 toes pointing forwards. As you bring your hands to your heart, pop a little bend in that back knee and let the body sink. As you inhale, straighten the legs, rise on up, high lunge, balanced on the ball of the back foot. Bending both knees, body stays nice and upright. So as we do that twice more, we're trying not to lean the body forwards as you bring the hands down to your heart. That's it, beautiful. One more time, inhale, powering up through the legs this morning. Exhale. So this time straightening the legs, arrowing the arms up. And as you exhale, bend the knees and bring the hands down, framing the foot. So you can either bring that back knee down and do that little hamstring stretch we did before, or keeping the back knee lifted. As you inhale, we're going to straighten both legs and look to the back of your mat. As you inhale, bend the front knee, back knee stays lifted as you bring the chest forwards. So inhaling, hips go up and back. And exhale as you bend the knee. Bring the chest forward. So twice more. If this is too much, remember you bring that back knee down and do that hamstring stretch we did just before. Lovely. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Pausing now. Now bring your palms flat to the floor. Press into your hands and move like you mean it as you step that left leg back into plank. Take an inhale as you press into your hands and exhale, knees lifted or lower, and come down onto your tummy. Find your cobra or maybe an upward dog, pressing into palms of hands, tops of feet, or meet in a downward facing dog. Lovely. So from your downward dog, just bend your right knee, just your right knee. And then floating the right leg all the way up and back behind you, take an inhale. And as you exhale, step or help that right foot forwards, top of the mat. And then spinning that back heel in, ready for a warrior two. And rise on up. So you've got your right knee bent and the left leg straight. Reach the arms out to the sides. Lovely. As you bring your hands together at the heart, go ahead and straighten the front leg. An option to lift the toes up for a little added stretch. And then float back down into your warrior two, bending the knee. Lovely. Take an inhale. Exhale as you bring the hands to the heart. Lovely. Floating the arms out, sink a little deeper. And then hands draw to the heart. Lovely. Let's do that one more time. Beautiful. And the next time you're in your warrior, we'll pause, reaching the arms out, looking over that front palm. Turning the front palm up, we'll reach forwards as you inhale. And exhale, taking that right arm all the way up and back. Inhaling to center. This time as you exhale, let's come into that side angle. Left arm comes all the way up alongside your ear. Beautiful. So reaching both arms up, turn all 10 toes to the long edge of your mat. Take an inhale. And exhale down into your forward fold. Fingertips finding the floor or maybe just resting on your thighs this morning. Allowing the body a moment in that forward fold. Bending the knees slightly, bring your heels in, your toes turning out, ready for goddess. As you inhale, let's rise on up, sweeping the arms up, and as you exhale, hands to heart, bending the knees, body sliding down that imaginary wall so we're not sticking the bottom back behind you. Keeping with those legs, just simply interlace your hands just in front of your belly with your palms facing up towards you. As you inhale, and straighten the legs, draw the hands up towards you. And as you exhale, push the palms down as you bend the knees. Lovely. Inhaling, pushing the palms forwards and up, straightening the legs. And as you exhale, circle the arms all the way back down in front of the belly. Inhale, palms draw up. This is from a form of yoga called Drew Yoga. Exhale, palms press down. So grounding flow. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Lovely again to slow us down. We're feeling a case of Isle Krankenheit coming on. Inhale. And let that weight drop down into your feet. Sweeping the arms up, let's take an inhale. And exhale, release. Lovely. One more time. So no rush at all. Inhaling up. And exhaling down. Inhaling up. And exhaling, release. This time as you inhale, sweep the arms up, turn all 10 toes forwards. And as you exhale, back down into your forward fold momentarily. You're going to turn over your right foot. So turning over your right foot, little pivot on the back heel. So keeping that left hand down as you inhale, take that right arm up to the sky as you take a twist. And as you exhale, bring both hands down. Stepping to the top of the mat, take an inhale and exhale to fold. Rise to stand, big breath in. Hands coming down to heart. Exhale, beautiful. Let's try that on the other side. So turning the palms up to face you, like you're opening the pages of a book. As you inhale, let's take the arms forwards. And exhale, swing the hands behind you and interlace them. Knuckles draw down, chest opens, inhale, and really bend those knees as you exhale and drape your body over your thighs, arms lift up and over. And then when you're there, maybe this time you can start to straighten the legs a little bit. Feeling the stretch in the hamstring, deepen. And bringing the hands down onto your back, we release that bind. And as you inhale, sweep the arms forwards and up. Straight back down into your forward fold, exhale. Lifting up halfway, breathing in. This time it's left leg we take back behind you. Lovely. So walking right foot towards your right hand. Gonna rise on up into that high lunge. Woo! As you bring the hands together at the heart, pop a little bend in that back knee. So inhaling, rising on up, straightening the legs. So a little bit of balance. And exhaling, bringing the hands down through the middle. Trying not to lean forwards. Let's do that twice more. Woo! I can feel I'm wibbly wobbly on this side. I'm sharing the wobbles. Inhaling. And exhaling. Lovely. This time we'll reach on up. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, fingertips find the floor. And again, you can either bring that back knee down and do that nice hamstring stretch, or keep the back knee lifted. Lifting both hips up, lifting the hips up, straightening both legs. And then bending that front knee as you bring the chest forwards. So inhaling, straightening the legs. You're looking towards the back of your mat. And exhale to bend the knee. Keep that back knee lifted and long if you can. Lovely. Twice more. Version of our pyramid pose. One more time. Lovely. So next time you've got that front knee bent, plant the hands, press into your hands as you dome the upper back, and stepping that right leg back into plank. Pause there as you press into your hands, take an inhale. Exhale, coming down onto your tummy. Use those knees if you need to. Lifting up into cobra, or maybe again that upward dog. And again, we'll find our downward dog when you're ready. Pausing there, stretching those heels back behind you, catching your breath. And this time we bend the left leg, stretching the right heel down and then floating left leg up behind you. Take an inhale and exhale, step or help it forwards, top of the mat. So getting ready for our warrior two, we're going to spin that back heel in. And when you're ready, rising on up. So this time we've got our left knee bent into our warrior two. Lovely. Hands come to heart, you straighten the legs. And again, options to lift the toes. And then bend the front knee, come back into your warrior. Lovely. So inhaling, straightening the legs, hands to heart. And exhale as you float the arms out. Lovely. Coming a little deeper into that warrior two each time, maybe. Ooh, working those legs. Lovely. One more time. Inhale. And as we meet in that warrior, we'll pause. Turning your front palm up, reach forwards. Inhale. And exhale as you reverse your warrior. Lovely. Inhale to center. This time, exhale, right arm comes over the top of the head into your side angle. Lovely stretch through the side of the body. As you come up through the middle, let's turn all 10 toes forwards. Reaching the arms up, we'll take an inhale. And exhale, coming down into your forward fold. Pushing the hips back behind you as you find that nice rejuvenating forward fold. And then turning the heels in. If you're very wide in your stance, you might want to shorten your stance slightly. Rising on up when you're ready. Hands coming down to heart, you bend those knees. Again, sliding the back down that imaginary wall. Leave that little grounding flow, so interlacing the hands in front of you. And then we draw the palms up, slowing it down, inhale. Push the palms down, exhale. Sweeping the arms forwards and up, breath in. And breathing out, sweeping the arms out to the side. Again, just back to where we started. Inhaling up. And exhaling, sinking down into your legs. Inhaling. And a big release. Exhale. Lovely. So moving slowly. Like I said, it's part of a wonderful grounding yoga called Drew Yoga. What you want to do if you're ever feeling very discombobulated. Let's do that one more time. Slowing things down, reconnecting with breath. Lovely. So this time we'll sweep the arms out and up, turn all 10 toes forwards, take an inhale. Back down into your forward fold, exhale. So this time we're turning over your left foot. So a little pivot on your back toes. Taking the left arm up towards the sky, finding a twist or take an inhale. And exhale, bringing the hands down. Listen up, we're going to step back into your downward dog. And from your downward dog, dropping down onto all fours, maybe widening those knees, put your big toes together and find a version of child pose that suits your hips this morning. So if you don't like having your knees wide, you can bring your knees together. If you don't like extending your arms, if you find that brings your shoulders up towards your ears and creates tension, maybe rest your head on your hands and let your elbows just widen. Allows your chest just to melt down. Take a couple of breaths there. Then as you lift your chest, point the knees together if you had them apart. So you can drop your bottom to one side and swish both legs out in front of you. So go ahead and again, pop yourself up on a cushion or a pillow if you need, just to elevate your hips a little bit. Coming into a forward fold now, so as you inhale, sweep the arms up. As you come down over the legs, no expectation that you'll reach your toes, but if you do, feel free to bring your hands over the balls of the feet and gently pull the toes back towards you. Remember that lovely option if your back is feeling tight today to deeply bend your knees and wrap your hands underneath your thighs. And so wherever you are, try to keep the body still now, no bouncing or jiggling around there. Again, just allowing gravity to do that work for you. Gently pulling you forwards and down. And when you're ready, walking your way back up the legs, ready to bring that right heel in towards you. So sitting up nice and tall, you can keep the right foot on the inside, cross it over to the outside. If your hips are flexible enough, you can tuck that left heel round. But if you're really skew width there, it's much better to have that left leg straight in front of you so you can sit up nice and evenly. Left hand or elbow gives that knee a squeeze. We'll take a big circle with the right arm and coming behind you, or maybe again just resting it on your back. If like me, you feel your arms are a little bit too short to reach the floor comfortably. And again, just turning into that twist. Trying not to lift your right sit bone off the floor there. And then keeping the legs as they are, we'll simply move the body back through the middle and then turn it round in the opposite direction just to unravel the spine a little. Lovely. Bring both hands behind you so you can lean into them as you unravel the legs, give them a little bounce and then bring the left heel in. And again, it can stay there. If you cross it over, you should be able to bring your big toe comfortably down to the floor. Or take that little hook round so you can sit between your heels, sitting up nice and tall. So again, if you're feeling really unbalanced there, You can either pop something underneath your bottom or stretch the right leg out in front. So right hand or elbow gives the knee a squeeze. Big circle with the left arm. Again, I'm just going to bring my hand onto my lower back so I can not feel tempted to lean into that back hand with my little Tyrannosaurus Rex arms. Mind you, I'd look very funny with long arms, wouldn't I? I'd be like Mr. Tickle. Lovely, come all the way back through the middle. And then just turning the body round in the opposite direction. Nice. Calming back to center. Hands come behind you, so once again, you can give the legs a little shake. We're coming down onto our back, so if you're in a cooler room and you need a jumper or a pair of socks on, feel free to grab them back now. And come down onto your back. Slowly, bringing the knees in towards your chest. And maybe have a little rock from side to side, or massage through the spine. Lovely. And coming to stillness, bring both hands onto your right knee. Just bring your left foot down to the floor. Allow that right knee just to come in towards your chest. You might come down towards your armpit a little bit. And if your back feels okay, slide the left leg out in front of you, pressing the heel down into the floor with the toes up towards the ceiling. Lovely stretch for the low back. Coming into the hamstring now, holding on around the back of that right leg. We'll take the leg up towards the sky. Again, pulling the toes towards your face. If that's too much, with the leg straight, go ahead and bend your left leg up. And again, if you're feeling okay in the hamstring, maybe you slide your hands up the leg and bring your nose towards your knee. Only if that feels good this morning. You should bring your head and shoulders back down. Bring that right knee back in towards your chest, bending the knee. Left hand on your right knee. Coming into a final twist as you just bring that right knee across the body. Oh, nice clunk from my back there. Don't worry if your knee doesn't touch the floor, if your shoulder blade lifts. Just enjoy that little final stretch out for the spine. And then rolling onto your back. Bring the right knee in towards your chest. Bring the left knee in towards your chest. Again, have a little massage, a little rock. And then we'll swap sides. Right foot coming to the floor. And we give the left knee a nice squeeze. So again, some knees will kind of track out towards the outside edge of your body. Go ahead and slide the right leg out in front of you if that feels good. Heel pressing down to anchor it in place. And then that final hamstring stretch, holding on around the back of the leg, leg goes up. Toes pulling towards your face. And again, you can slide your hands up your leg. If you're doing this version, make sure your hands aren't on your knee joint. You've got your hands on your shin or your calf. Lovely, coming all the way back down, bringing that knee back in towards your chest. And this time the right hand is the hand that brings the knee across your body. And coming all the way back to center, bring the knee in towards your chest, bring the other knee in to join it. Beautiful. And just as we did at the beginning, give those knees a squeeze and maybe bring the nose towards your knee. Coming up into a little ball. And then lower the head, lower the shoulders. Bring the feet down to the floor, feet and knees together. And again, allow the knees to part, soles of the feet together. Again, fingertips might just rest on your inner thighs, maybe down by the side of the body, or again, maybe coming into that lovely reclined goddess. Arms above your head, just with one hand resting on top of the other. Again, maybe take a little rock from side to side across the back of your hips. Just take a few nice deep breaths there. Again, the hips, a place where many of us get very tight. They're a big stabilizing joint in the body. A lot of power, a lot of strength there, so they can get very tight. So some forms of yoga would say that the hips are where we hold on to the unwanted emotions and stress and tension. And when you're ready, Gently bring those knees together, feet flat to the floor. Stretch out one leg in front of you. Stretch out the other leg and reach both arms back above your head. Finding, just as we did at the beginning, that lovely full body stretch, and just see how that feels at the end of a practice rather than the beginning. Maybe you want to have a little bit of movement as you stretch into one side and then stretch into the other side, or again a little circle of wrists or ankles there. And slowly bringing the arms back down by the side of the body. Feeling free to keep your legs stretched out in front of you if that's okay for your back. Let your heels drop in and your toes roll open. So again, there's a little hip opener there. Otherwise, walking your heels back in towards you. Your knees point up towards the ceiling. If you're choosing that version with your knees bent, maybe take your feet a little bit wider apart so you can rest your knees against one another. Arms down by the side of the body, or maybe a hand on your chest, a hand on your belly if you're feeling need of that added reassurance and weight. And after the movement, a moment now where you can allow the body a moment of ease. Chance to reconnect with your breath. It's at this point sometimes the mind seems to have its own case of eye or Frankenheit, rushing you forwards into the rest of the day, maybe the rest of the week, preempting those things that lie ahead of us. We'll see if you can again use your breath to gently slow yourself down and find that quiet sanctuary within you. Again, moving slowly now, no sense of haste or speed as you start to slowly deepen and lengthen each breath, particularly that inhale, that breath which gives us the energy to move forwards with the rest of our day. Maybe a little wiggle of your fingers and toes now. If you want that lovely full body stretch again, feel free. Stretching the arms back, straightening the legs. And slowly bringing your knees back in towards your chest, one at a time. And rolling or turning to lie on one side and then come up to seated when you're ready. Take your time. And when you're seated, we'll just meet with the hands together at the heart there. Chin just bowing down towards your fingertips, allowing your elbows just to drop down towards your waist. And just reminding ourselves as we move forward with the rest of the week to be fast when it makes sense to be fast, and to be slow when slowness is called for, and seek to live at what musicians call the tempo gusto, the right speed. And namaste, thank you. Which seems to be a million miles an hour in this world, doesn't it? Thank you team.